Okay, people, we are live. Good to see you. Hope you are doing okay. It's a long time no see. Of course, I did drop a video this morning on the Samsung Galaxy Book3 Pro 360. I got it. You know, try saying that 100 times. So it's good to see everybody. Now, a couple of things before we begin here. I just want to let everybody know I am streaming on 3 platforms this time, a little bit more of an experiment here. So hopefully the bandwidth will hold up. I'm streaming not only here on YouTube, but Twitter and Facebook to my Facebook page. So trying something a little bit different, trying to expand the reach a little bit. So here we are. Hopefully you can see me and hear me okay. It's good to be back again doing a live stream. So I did a premiere this morning, which is sort of a hybrid live stream, hybrid video. It's a recorded video that you premiere on YouTube, and it seemed to do okay. And the video is doing very well. So it seems like there's some interest in this. Now, this is the 360-degree version of this product from their Pro line, but I also have the Ultra coming out next week, which is going to be released, and I do have a pre-order there. So I will have my unit in by next week. And I also have a 14-inch Galaxy Book3 Pro non-360, the clamshell. That's coming as well next week. So just keep your, make sure your subscriptions are here on the channel. Make sure you have the notification bell checked off, because I don't think you want to miss anything. So what I did, my initial benchmarks on this, and I released that video this morning, of course, and if you didn't see it, just go over to the channel. But there are some things I really like about this. There's some things I'm still a little bit annoyed by, and we'll get into it here on this live stream this afternoon. So I'm liking what I'm seeing for the most part on this. And the biggest negative, I can just start off right away, is how glossy this display is. And you can see how the fingerprint scanner works pretty flawlessly. And it's just so damn glossy. It's an absolutely gorgeous AMOLED display. It's a dynamic AMOLED display, and it's what they're calling Dynamic AMOLED 2X. It's a dynamic refresh rate of up to 120 hertz. Now, you know, the display is very responsive and everything, but this thing is damn reflective. You know, I just can't find the right angles here, especially to show you, because of my studio lights. They're so bright, and of course I need that to stream, but it's just so damn bright. It's just so damn glossy. Now, the good news is that I did measure pretty good brightness on this, almost 475 nits. So I think 476 I got. So that means you're going to have a really good experience as far as the screen brightness. The thing that is really good on this, it's HDR, so watching high dynamic range content is fantastic on this. So really, really good. We're going to get into it today, but let's say hello to a few people while we are here. And good to see Constantine once again. And I'm going to put you over here because this thing is way too big. Let's put that over there. And then we got Handquake here, live with the pretty OLED. Yep, absolutely gorgeous display, just a little glossy for my taste, but it is absolutely gorgeous. Watching movies on it has been great. Just got to watch the lighting conditions that you're in. And the huge trackpad, we'll talk about that. It is exceptionally huge, as you see here. I mean, this thing is just gigantic, probably the biggest one I've seen. And Anthropod Spidey likes the music. That's good. And I think that that music's gone. I can take that off. And then, of course, good to see William here. Looking forward to another live stream here, another great one. So yeah, please hit the like button. It does me a favor because it helps it get spread out over YouTube. Good to see Montauk Whaler here. I don't know why this can't get this. I'm just experimenting here with the comments and the phone. Yeah, so I have the Galaxy S23 Ultra here. So we're going to show some of the quick sharing features. It's been hit or miss, to be honest, so I've been trying it a little bit before this stream. Good to see you, Arnulfo. So this is the Galaxy S23 Ultra. Now, on my mobile channel, I did my unboxing video, so you can go over there and check it out. If you're not already subscribed to my mobile channel, there should be a link. If not, I'll put a link when we're done. But you can just do a search and you can check out any of the things that I have to do with mobile phones. And this S-View case has actually been working out pretty well. All right. So hello from Finland to, who's that, Ipo? I hope I said your name right. Good to see Andy Kyler here. Good to see DJ Splash 256. Good day to you, Montauk Whaler. Good to see you once again. So it looks like we got a lot of the regulars here. So we're not doing an unboxing. We've already unboxed this, but I want to just go over a few things, and then I'll take your comments and questions. And do me a favor, put a Q before your question. That helps me identify it a little bit easier. And with that being said, let's get right to it. So the thing that, besides the glossiness of the display, that I'm a little bit irked by is the fingerprint magnet that this is. Now, of course, this is the graphite model, but there is also beige as far as another colorway. And I got a chance to look at it, and I have the beige 14-inch non-convertible, the non-360 coming next week. And that is a pro model, and that also is beige. So this is the graphite, and that beige is actually really nice. And it's almost like a silverish, beige-ish kind of thing. And I actually like it, but this thing is showing a lot of fingerprints. I spent a lot of time trying to get it clean before this live stream, so it will show fingerprints. Maybe a skin will do on this, those that are really annoyed like me for these fingerprints. But the build on this, folks, is fantastic. So one of the things, and one of the negatives last year that I wasn't crazy about, was not only the glossiness of the display of that full HD one, but the fact that it was a major fingerprint magnet. There's no other way about it, and that's the same here. But the build quality of that one wasn't as good as this. This is fantastic. Now, one of the reasons the build quality is so much better now is because they went from a magnesium alloy to an aluminum or aluminium, wherever, it depends on where you are, how you say it. So that's going to give you a stronger, much more robust in terms of the build. Very little, if any, flex on the chassis here. I mean, this thing is built like a rock. And the other thing you're going to notice is it's very MacBook-esque in terms of the build quality. So I don't know if it's a blatant ripoff, but people are saying, this looks like a MacBook. And it certainly does, especially in this graphite color. Very, very similar to the space gray. Good to see Daria from Germany. Remember, super chats are open if you want to help out the channel. And speaking of which, I want to just put this disclaimer out there. Now, Samsung did invite me to the Samsung Galaxy Unpacked event 2 weeks ago in San Francisco, as you know. And I paid for my own way there, hotel, airfare from Las Vegas to there. And they invited me to the press event, but that's it. I did not get a review unit. I did not get any special treatment. So just so you know, these opinions that you're hearing are all my own, and they are not getting any sort of copy approval. In fact, they don't even return my emails, to be honest with you. I'm not even sure why they invited me. But the bottom line is, I'm kind of glad I bought this so I can obviously give you my unbiased opinion, raw as it is. And that's pretty much what I've been seeing so far as far as the negative. So major fingerprint magnet, major glossiness in terms of the display. I mean, this might be the most glossy display I've ever seen, but it is the positives here. It is super bright. They've gotten brighter. So one of the big negatives last year also was the fact that you can barely hit 300 nits on either on the 13 or even on the 15-inch model. Here, no problems. They claim 400 nits. I actually got above that. I said 476 on my measurements, my initial measurements. Excellent coverage of the color gamut, excellent color accuracy. You're almost looking at 100% Adobe RGB, which is fantastic. You don't see that very often. The DCI P3 wide color gamut is in the high 90s, 100% sRGB. So you really can't go wrong as far as color grading, doing any kind of creative work on this. It's going to be great. Now, let's talk about the 13th gen processor. So far, what have I seen? And again, we'll get your comments and questions in a moment. But the Core i7 1360p, we know this is a 28-watt CPU. We know that it has 12 cores. That's 8 efficiency cores, and that's 4 performance cores, right? Very, actually pretty much the same as last year in terms of the physical nature of it. But we're seeing a little bit better performance here. I'm not seeing groundbreaking performance, but I'm seeing a little bit better efficiency. I think we're seeing better thermals as well. But of course, I've had it less than 24 hours, so I still need to do further testing. But I did show some initial benchmarks, and I did show some thermal testing that I did. I did some thermal imaging, as well as giving you some noise samples for the decibel meter regarding the fan noise on this. And I did open it up, by the way. So speaking of what's inside, again, go to the video, but I'll just tell you the SSD, which is super fast. It's a Gen 4 M.2 PCIe SSD storage, and the reads and writes were really, really good. So definitely we're very happy with that, but there's only one slot there. I didn't see a second slot for a second SSD, which would have been nice, especially on a 16-inch laptop. But I really think that they made a lot of the improvements I wanted to see. Again, higher res display, high refresh rate, and you also have the better build quality moving to the aluminum as opposed to the magnesium. Now, the key here is this is a 16-inch, 16 by 10, or 16 to 10, I should say, aspect ratio. And again, one of the big negatives last year was the fact that I didn't like the 16 to 9. And as you know, most brands already moved to 16 to 10. And right now, I'm just glad to see this here as a 16 to 10, especially on a 16-inch. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, what about a 14-inch? Is there a 14-inch Pro 360 here? And I didn't see any offered. I didn't see anything at the Galaxy Unpacked event, and I don't know if I haven't gotten any information from anybody. So it looks like they might have phased out the smaller 2-in-1 convertible on the Pro line. Now, if you go for the standard line, the non-Pro 360, I think you can still get it in the 13.3-inch, 16 to 9 aspect ratio, and the larger 15.6-inch, again, also 16 to 9. So that's a little bit of a summary here. Now, the quick share, which is another feature I've been really testing out, and it's been a little bit hit or miss, and we're going to show you an example in a moment. But this is the Samsung Galaxy S23. And you can see it here. And this has been really good so far. And again, if you want to check out my unboxing video, it's over on my second channel, the mobile channel. But what I wanted to see is how we can show how this works in real time here. So it was a little bit hit or miss. So the app, and you can see it here, it's this one right here. And I'll put myself down there. So this is this is the tablet. This will allow you to share the tablet. That's not the one I want, but it allows you to use your Tab S8, S8 Plus, or Ultra as a secondary tablet. That's really good, especially if you're on the road. You need some more screen real estate. That's a great thing. Now you can see that it found my Andrew's Samsung Galaxy S23 in the quick share, and let me maximize that to show you. You can see it there. I've got my S22 Ultra and my S23. So let me put my fingerprint there. So I don't know what the best way to show you this, but you can see it here. Well, you can see it here. So let me put it down because I'm trying to figure the best angle to show you. Let me get that out of the light there. Okay, let's just keep it there. So I have a photo, right? And I want to send it to the Galaxy Book right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go take a photo, right? So here we'll just take a photo here, a random photo. Here I can take one top down. Okay, I just took a photo and you can see it here. And now I want to send it to this laptop. So what I'm going to do is hit the share button, and it sees my my two phones. It sees my S22 Ultra, and it also sees the book here. So the Galaxy Book. So I'm going to hit the Galaxy Book. Hopefully this will work because it's been hit or miss, to be honest. And it is sending. It looks like it's sending, and it worked. Okay, so it's been working the last few times, and there it is. There's the photo that I took on my S23 Ultra is now showing up on the Book3 Pro 360. So you can see that it is working here, and you can manipulate the photo. You can do anything you want. You can see it right here. That's the photo I took. Now, say I want to send a video, right? So I took a video earlier, and let me go to the phone here. Let me go to the video. Let me just take a video here. Let me show you. So I'm going to take a very quick 5-second 4K 60 video, right? So let me do that, and I'll do it vertical. And now it's got, let's see, let's do 5 seconds. So 5 seconds, let's do 10 seconds. Let's see how fast it can send a 4K 60. And then I'll hit stop. And then what I'm going to do and you can see it here. Let me go show you top down. So the video is right here, and I want to share it. Let me close this. And I want to put it onto this Galaxy Book. I hit the Galaxy Book, and let's see. And you can go vice versa. You can go from the Book to the Galaxy S23 Ultra. So you can do it, and there it comes. You can see it coming here. It's taking a few seconds, but it's actually pretty quick. In fact, it might be as quick as, and there it is, playing the video right there. So very interesting and a great way to get photos and videos off your device onto your laptop, and especially if you want to do creative work, Photoshop, video editing, and stuff like that. So that has been working the last couple of times. At first, it wasn't working that great, and there you go. Good to see the Poets in the house. Good to see you, my friend. If everybody should follow the Poets on YouTube and, of course, on TikTok. I'm interested in this laptop. I need to dive more into the ecosystem. So the Poets, what's going on is that this is doing very well so far. I've had a couple of hit or miss with it, but you can see it here. The quick share feature is very similar to what Apple has with the AirDrop, right? So that's worked out pretty good so far. No hiccups. I did have a few hiccups earlier, as I mentioned, but that's about it. Now, we can close the quick share for now. I can minimize it. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is the fact there's no discrete GPU options. So like with the Ultra that I'm getting next week on the Galaxy Book 3 Ultra, that's the new one. That one does have an H series processor, a 45-watt CPU, and you can get it with either Core i9 or the Core i7 or the RTX 4050 or the 4070. So 40 series GPU, and I have one coming next week, so that will be pretty interesting, I think. So we can see how the discrete graphics will work, and that was super thin as well. I showed it in my video that I did from San Francisco on that. Now, let me fix this. Okay, oops, there we go. All right, so let's show you now the couple of benchmarks that I already ran. I showed you it got over 10,000 on the multi-core, and I think 2,200, 2,400 on the single core, and that was the Geekbench 6. I haven't run the Geekbench 6 before. This is the first time that I've done it. But what I do want to check out today is the PC Mark 10, the 3D Mark rather, stress test to see what kind of throttling this might exhibit. Now, I did run it earlier, and it passed. It got a passing grade. So we'll see if it'll do it again with everything connected. It got over 97.8 or something like that, which means that it maintained good clock speeds even under heavy load. Okay. So Handquake saying, man, love you, but complaining about the reflections in the screen in your studio with no real world usage is annoying. If you have an OLED TV in your no, Handquake, this is a really glossy display. I wouldn't bring it up if I didn't think it was an issue. It really is. I do have a lot of I do have a lot of lights here, and I can show you. Let's go. Let me turn off some of these lights. Let me show you. So if I go here, right? So let me turn off these lights. So these are some of the main lights are already off. Look at that. That's with basic lighting here. Now, if I put the lights back on, it shows it. It's just a very glossy display. So no, I don't take any offense to that. You have, obviously you like these displays, but I gotta be real, people. This is really, really glossy. There's no two ways about it. All right. So the Poets is saying, Resolve Studio 18 loves an NVIDIA GPU in a laptop. Yeah, so the NVIDIA, so it's going to have the NVIDIA RTX 4050 on the i7 and on the i9, the RTX 4070, right? So hopefully, yeah, it is glossy. It is glossy. And I'm not complaining. It's a great display. I mentioned it. It's a fantastic display. It's very bright. One of the biggest criticisms I had last year. But this thing is probably the glossiest display I've seen to date. All right, let's take a look at that benchmark. So let me go over here, put myself down here, doing this all live in real time. Okay, so this is the 3D Mark. Let's go to the stress test here. And I'm going to run the Time Spy stress test, and let's see if it can get a passing score. Now, I did, as a preliminary measure, I did run it earlier. It did pass, so let's see if it can pass again. Hopefully it will. If it gets a failing score, that means it detected throttling, that the underload. So just keep that in mind. All right. So let me check the stream, make sure everything's okay. Looks like we have people watching on hopefully multiple places. We have on Facebook, and then I'm also live on Twitter. So nobody's watching on Twitter. So I think I live in darker environment, maybe Handquake, but it's all good. It's all good. All right. So this is running the Time Spy stress test. It's running the graphics test. In the meantime, I could take some of your comments and questions. Benny Sisa is asking, just joined, how is the body when pressed down? I got the S360 or the Samsung, the 360 from 2 years ago, squeaks a bit. No. So one of the things that I was talking about earlier is the big difference in the build. They went from a magnesium alloy to an aluminum, which is a big difference. Of course, you're going to add more weight, but it also feels more premium and it's more rock solid. Very little, if any, flex in the chassis. Yes, there is some flex on the chassis, on the screen wobble. No flex on the chassis, but there is screen wobble. That's because the nature of these hinges, of course. But again, you will, when you type, it will start to move a little bit. I've seen worse, but it's definitely not, not the tightest I've ever seen. So just keep that in mind. The poets love the Surface Laptop 3, but that screen is so glossy, it's hard to see outside. So yeah, I mean, indoors you're fine. You can find the right angle, of course, but outdoors with the glossiness, I still have to test this out. I didn't take it outdoors yet. I've had it less than 24 hours. But the good news is it does get very bright, much brighter than last year's model. Question from William. I assume the connection between the phone and the laptop is Bluetooth. Am I correct? No, it's actually Wi-Fi. So it's Wi-Fi. So you have to be on the same, I believe you have to be on the same Wi-Fi network. So that's how that's been working. And you know what? It wasn't working so great earlier. I did a BIOS update, by the way, on the laptop right before the stream. Probably wasn't the best idea, but it made it. It did the BIOS update. But since then, it's actually worked out pretty well. So it's using Wi-Fi between my S23 Ultra and the Galaxy Book 3 Pro 360. Well, I hate that name, by the way. It's just too many, too many numbers to remember, and it's too confusing. But anyway, it's just me. All right, there seems to be screen wobble. Yes, a little bit of screen wobble. How are the speakers and the sound? So the speakers are good. I like the sound on this. They're what are they called here? They're AKG. So they're owned by Samsung, right? AKG, from what I understand. So the speakers are good. They're not the greatest thing I've ever heard. They're definitely better, I think, than last year. I think some people had some issues with the volume. I'm going to do a sound test in the upcoming video. Of course, doing sound tests on videos are so hard because everybody is listening on a different device. So really is not a fair representation as far as getting an idea, but maybe I can compare it to a MacBook, which I think is some of the best out there. So the sound is good. I would say it's not outstanding, but it is good. You don't need Wi-Fi to share the files. That has the Wi-Fi between the two. So, right. So it's using Wi-Fi direct. Okay. So thank you for clarifying that. Is it HDR? Yes. And I believe it's got a few standards on HDR. HDR10 for sure. And I tested some high dynamic range content. In fact, some of the content you saw last night or this morning when I released the video, actually, I recorded it last night, is in HDR, and I put it on 4K. Now, of course, this is not a 4K display, but I wanted to see how it would handle 4K, and it did fine. No hiccups. I didn't see any kind of tearing or anything, or any delays or anything. It actually worked out pretty well. Does the netbook pay off? Does a netbook pay off for a developer? What? A netbook? What are you talking, from 2009? Okay. Does the finish seem like it will scratch easily? I don't think the finish is going to scratch easily, but I do think, and you can see it here, it is a major fingerprint magnet. But so far, I mean, I've had it less than a day, but it's held up pretty well. It's held up pretty well. Does the notebook pay for a developer? Well, that's a different story, the notebook. If you want something with a discrete GPU, probably look at the Ultra that I'll take a look at next week. Screen wobble, not that bad. It appears worse when seeing the reflective background in your studio move more. The amplified wobble appears to be an illusion. So yeah, like I said, it's not terrible. You can see it here. Is it deal breaker? I don't know. I don't like screen wobble personally. This isn't terrible. I've seen worse. Again, you're moving, it does move. This reflection is really crazy, right? Again, this is a gorgeous display. I don't want to give you the wrong impression here. It is a gorgeous display. It's just that it's just a very, very highly glossy display. A lot of reflections, a lot of glare. Good to see Jose Miguel from Pinharanda from Portugal. All right, so there you go. Are there any cases of screen protectors? I'm sure there are skins you could put on it. Screen protectors, I imagine. I don't use any on laptops. That's just me. But there might be out there. I don't know. I probably should look into that. But you could also skin this if you don't like all the fingerprints and so forth. I'm sure Dbrand or one of the skin companies will have something for it. What do you think about the trackpad and keyboard? Well, so here's the deal. So let's start off with the trackpad or the touchpad. This is probably the biggest touchpad I've ever seen. And it might even be, dare I say, it might even be too big, if there is such a thing. I mean, it's fine. It's very responsive. It's not a haptic touchpad. I don't think it is. I think it's a physical, you're getting a physical click on it. But it's been responsive when it comes to scrolling, when it comes to gestures. Everything worked. The only thing is sometimes I found myself, because it's so big, inadvertent clicks maybe a couple of times. Nothing major. You do get used to it. Now, the keyboard is very shallow. I got to tell you, I've had better keyboards out there when it comes to key travel, but as far as tactility, it was good. As far as using it, I got used to it very quickly. I didn't feel like my fingers would bottom out. It's just a little bit shallow, and I talked about it in the video. And then, of course, you have a numpad, although that numpad is a little bit narrow for some. And I'll be honest, I could have lived without it. I would have liked to have, more spaced out keys, maybe a little bit better keyboard if they didn't include that. I don't know. And then, of course, that moves the trackpad over to the left a little bit, off center. So, again, it's just a matter of personal preference. Fahad is asking, do you think the Book 3 Pro is sturdier than the 360 model? I don't know. I don't have the 360 model, but I would imagine I don't know if they're using the same materials last year. I got to look into that, actually. If somebody knows, let us know. And then he's asking, how is the OLED screen compared to the XPS 15 OLED? That's a very good question. This OLED screen is absolutely gorgeous. But I do like the Dell XPS 15's OLED, the 3.5K, a little bit better, to be honest. That's just me. Less glossy on that one, and maybe we can do a head-to-head at some point. Maybe I'll do a video on that. But the bottom line is you can get very good results out of this, and I did test the measurements. You're looking at excellent coverage of the color gamut. You're looking at really good color accuracy and great brightness. So those are the things going for it. The negatives is the glossy. That's it. And here, it's not so bad in this angle, of course, but you move it around. It just depends on your lighting conditions. You can play Squid Game on the large trackpad. You probably could. I don't, but yeah. Numpad design is poor. So yeah, like I said, it's just a matter of what you want in a device, right? So, it's just a matter of, are you willing to, do you need to crunch numbers? Are you an accountant? Do you do spreadsheets? And is this the right implementation? According to William, it's not. So I'd rather have no numpad than a poorly designed one. And I think, William, you're probably in agreement for that, right? So there you go. So while we're running these tests and so forth, any other questions? So remember, put a Q before your question. It makes it easier for me. And if you want to give a super chat or a super sticker, that's fine. Memberships are open, yada, yada, yada. So Samsung Mirror 3. Yeah, this is it's a glossy display. I'm not going to, listen, it is what it is. I noticed it at the event, but I was hoping that it was just because of their lighting and the way they had it set up in the event. But having it in my studio, and again, in all fairness, I do have a lot of studio lights here. But even as I showed you earlier, when I turned off the main lights, it's still very glossy. So if you don't like glossy displays, this might not be the one for you. Now, they did improve the display, like I said. exponentially, and I can't stress that enough. So you got all the stuff you want if you're a content creator. If you're going to do Photoshop, Lightroom, video editing, color grading, it's definitely an excellent display. Now, the S Pen, you can see the S Pen here. I haven't used it all that much, but I did take a few notes. And the Samsung Note app is cross-platform, so it goes from, in terms of the sharing between the two. That's one of the benefits of being in the Samsung Galaxy ecosystem. So you can take your notes from one to the other, and that's fine. I tried using this pen on the S22, but I think they're using a different pen here. So yeah, see, it doesn't work. So the S Pen for the Galaxy Book is not the same S Pen for the Galaxy S22 Ultra, which is housed over here. And then, you could just write notes and so forth, or just, scroll around, and there you go. So I don't think this one, this one might work. I don't know. I'm not going to interrupt the testing that I'm doing, but I'll check it later. So used to be maybe they were a little more compatible. Now, not so much. All right. Pels is saying, I don't understand why people don't mention it's a sponsor stream when they're promoting a product with links to buy it in the description. So Pels, obviously you don't understand what a sponsorship means versus affiliate links. And maybe we should get into it a little bit to clarify any kind of confusion people might have. So a sponsorship video is where I would receive money to promote a product. Like for instance, if Samsung gave me money to promote this, which I would never take, by the way, because of my ethical beliefs on this, they would have to pay me money and I would promote it. And I would have to tell you, according to the FCC, I would have to tell you, or the FTC and FCC, I would have to tell you that I'm being paid so people can get a fair and honest assessment of it. Now, what's the difference between affiliate links and that? So the affiliate links is a commission I will get if you click on my link and decide to buy the product. Now, Samsung, by the way, it could be from Best Buy, it could be from Samsung. It just depends on what the affiliate link is. But they're not paying me for this. This is just to help out the channel. And by the way, the amount of commission I get is so small, it's not, you would say, okay, wow, that's not great either. So you have to understand the difference between a sponsored video and an affiliate link. And the affiliate links are there. I work with Howell, and it is what it is, and helps me buy stuff like this. And that's one of the reasons I use affiliate links, is because guess what? Samsung didn't send me this as a review unit. And I wanted to get a review unit. They asked me to come to the event. I met with the people, and then that was it. I never got any review unit. I didn't get the phone. I bought this myself. And I bought this myself. I bought the other laptop we're getting next week, the 14-inch Galaxy Book 3 Pro. And I bought the Samsung Galaxy Book 3 Ultra. So, guys, I'm out over $7,000, I think. Maybe more. So if you think I don't have a commitment to this, you think I'm being paid by Samsung, it's the opposite. I've actually shelled out a significant amount of money, just so you know. All right, hopefully that clears up the difference between a sponsored video or a sponsored stream, which this is not, and affiliate links when you buy through my links. And I think most people understand that. Some people apparently do not. All right, good afternoon to Digital Slang. All right, how are you, Jeff? Good to see you. Hope you're doing okay. If you haven't checked out Slang's channel, go over there, as well as The Poets, who was also here earlier. All right, so we're getting these numbers here. Let me, still going through the stress test. I want to see if this is going to get a passing score. We'll use this in the video. Right now, you can see it's just working. I hear the fan noise, so let's talk a little bit about the fan noise. Right now, I'm on the ultra performance mode, or the highest performance mode. And I did some measurements earlier. I think it got to about 40 to 42 decibels at the highest level. Again, I'll have to check it again in a moment. And then as far as the surface temperatures, again, a lot better than last year. I didn't see it getting overly hot, maybe in the 40s, some places, a couple of hot spots here and there in terms of the temperature in Celsius, of course, but I haven't seen anything alarming. And right now it's working hard. It's a little warm. It's a little warm on the bottom. Not bad at all. But I hear the fans, 41, 42, you'll hear it. Nothing annoying as far as I'm concerned. Were you just amazed by these laptops? Did you just have a spending attack? No, I wasn't amazed. I do it for my business here. This is a business expense. I have to keep you guys engaged, keep you watching, right? If Samsung's not going to send me the device, I have to find a way to get it. And guess what? I have to dip into my pocket. Now, the question becomes will I make enough off these videos to cover that? Probably not. So this might not make the best business sense at the end of the day. But we'll see. We'll see. You never know. You just never know. And yeah, obviously I'm doing because I like to do this, because why would anybody in their right mind spend this kind of money? And the same thing if it was with Apple, with their MacBooks. They're very expensive. Content never stops. Digital slang knows exactly what I'm talking about, right? So, so if people are going to criticize me, say, well, why would you spend... First of all, I get criticized because they think I'm being paid by Samsung. I am certainly not being paid by Samsung. And then the second thing is they criticize me for spending the money so I can bring you the content. I can't win, right? So it's just the way it is. Okay. So Chris loves the fan does bother him. Okay, so again, like I said, I'm hearing it right now. In fact, we probably should do a measurement, because remember, I had an initial measurement, but again, it's really working right now. So let's see if we can get something a little bit more accurate than yesterday. We'll see. Let me open that up and let me bring it down here. Okay. It should go on. So it's a little bit louder than yesterday. So I'm talking, so it's picking up my voice. 48. Let me be quiet. So right now you're looking at 48 decibels. Okay. And don't make me bust out my thermal imaging camera, because I'll do it. But I didn't see it get over. It's not hot. I can tell you right now, it's not hot. I mean, I can show you here. I'm feeling on the bottom. Nah, it's staying pretty warm. It's staying relatively cool. What is he saying? Maybe I'm a student though, so maybe I'm more sensitive to the sound in the classroom or the library. Oh no, I hear this stuff all the time. This is what I do. Anything below 40 decibels, you're good. Anything above 40, 42, 45, it gets a little bit annoying. Zong, guy spending $7,000 on a single product launch on a channel with views in the thousands. That's two without sponsored streams. Sounds shady. Okay, Zong, your name sounds shady. Yeah, whatever. Mark, you are doing a good job. Ignore those naysayers. They're just noise. Keep up the good work. I appreciate that. All right, something positive. How about that? Not that douche Zong, with douchey name. Could fans survive extreme editing? So I did a little DaVinci Resolve earlier. Yeah, no, it never got. This is right now. It's running the 3D Mark Time Spy stress test, and this is probably the loudest it's gotten, and maintain good temperatures, by the way. Got him. Let's see what else. People need to just chill out and enjoy the show. Yeah, moderators, you can ban people. I don't care. So you know what to do. I'm busy. I'm having a good time testing this stuff. So maybe, what do I do with all these laptops once you've done reviewing them? So good question, actually. So I'm going to be trying something new. So there's a thing called Whatnot, and Lon from Lon TV turned me on to this, and we met at an event last week. So he told me about this, and I think I'm going to start doing auctions and giveaways on this Whatnot, and I'm working out the details. So stay tuned. I have a lot of good stuff I'm going to get rid of. So if you want to maybe get some good deals, maybe even a giveaway, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, because I might be doing a Whatnot on that. It's called Whatnot, and It's there's some funding in it that they're trying to get it going, and I'm trying to get involved with that. Question: what would you think is good for making YouTube videos? What would you think that this is good for making YouTube videos? What do you mean? Are you going to use the camera on this? Is that what you mean? Or editing a YouTube video? Because it's a couple of things going on there. As far as editing, I would go with the Ultra because that'll have a discrete GPU right off the bat. But you can do 1080p video editing on this is fine. If you want to do anything above that, like 4K, then not so much. So it didn't pass this time. So it passed the first time I did it. So this means that there's thermal throttling. So what happened? So I think there's a couple of things going on here. I think we were connected, obviously, to this, but yeah, did not get a passing test. So 94.8. Before I got, I think, 97 point something. Let me show you what I got earlier. And let me see if it's this one. It passed earlier with this score. So it had a 97.2. So it did thermal throttle the second time. Interesting. Let me take a screenshot of that. I had a feeling it wasn't going to pass. So what does this mean? Let's scroll down. It means that it couldn't maintain the constant clock rate that it needed, and the frames would drop. Okay? That's what it really means. And let me compare this online, validate and compare results online. Let me see what happens when we do that. So here, it did not pass. Let me take a screenshot of that. So it will throttle down, I think, to keep the temperatures in check. Yeah, I got to check the loops. Again, this is only the second time I've run it on this machine. But the first time it passed, it got 97.2, and then here it got 94.8. So it didn't get it. It passed the first time, didn't pass the second time. Pretty interesting. I'm looking to start a YouTube channel, so this should be reliable. If I were you, I would, like I said, find something with a discrete GPU, with something with a dedicated GPU, not the integrated Iris Xe graphics. Wait till next week. I'm going to do the Samsung Galaxy Book 3 Ultra. Okay, so that's that. Now let's take a look at the camera real quick, and again I'll bring you more numbers in the full review when that's ready. So if I want to take a look at the camera here, and I showed an example in the video I released this morning. So it's okay. I think it's good. I think this is a good camera. It's 1080p, 60 frames per second. And that's why you get that very smooth, 60 frames per second. And we'll talk about the refresh rate in a moment. Just remind me. You could do the face effects. Right now it's off, but you can do subtle. And then you can do smooth. It's a little artificial looking for my taste. And then strong. This beautifies me, right? And then, let me turn that off. Background effects. So let's do the background blur. A little bit aggressive, but again, to hide a messy background, maybe in a pinch, it works, I guess. I don't know. Let's do color. So right now I have it on red, but you can change the different colors. You can say go to lime. There you go. And then you can put an image. So let me do an image. Let me go to downloads. Oh, let me do this. So I just put an image on the background. That's my thumbnail for today's live stream. Okay. Let me turn off the blur. Let me see. Oh, that's the blur. This is the image. And that's the color. Okay. It's okay. I wouldn't want to use it in a professional setting, to be honest. All right. Auto framing. Obviously, it does what it says. It keeps you in frame automatically. HDR is on right now. I don't see a big difference with the HDR. And then eye contact, which is the creepy mode, right? So that's that. Okay. I appreciate that, Mega. I'll keep up the good work. I'll try. Just came across you've helped me decide with this laptop, just wanting to see a review. Okay. Yeah, the review's coming, man. So those are the different effects you can do. The microphone sounded pretty good. I did an example in the video. Chris is saying meh. Like, I'll tell you who's been killing it. Let me turn off this. I'll tell you who's been killing it has been HP. Their work on the cameras that they've been doing have been so good that I think it puts everybody else to shame so far. Not impressed, Chris. Okay, yeah, they have the one I saw, the 8 megapixel camera, I think it was on the Folio. Unbelievable. And that did 1440p video as well. So Joy bought the Galaxy Book 3 Ultra, and I'm looking forward to seeing my review. So yeah, me too. I pre-ordered as well, just like you. So we'll see what happens when it comes into the studio. And I'll get it next week upon its release. Hopefully, God willing, everything goes according to plan. So that's where we are so far. Now, how long have we been live streaming? 47 minutes. We've got 80 of you watching. So I'm opening it up. Do you have any questions? So far, we found out it does thermal throttle under heavy load, which is not a surprise given how thin and light this goddamn thing is. Look at this thing. Thin and light is an understatement, you know. Now, the S Pen, you know, and I'm going to get into the S Pen a little bit in the video coming up, but it's worked fine. It does everything you'd want it to do. Taking notes, sketching out artwork. You can scroll around. You can do everything. It's okay. I mean, and the problem is, though, there's nowhere to store it other than on the lid. So I think it's right there, right? So that's it. And it's a pretty secure connection. But I would have liked to have a silo or a place to hold it within the unit itself like they used to have. So we don't get that. So Mega is looking into Twitch streaming for gaming. I have a PlayStation, so the laptop should be good for Twitch streaming. Oh, my ugly face. Nah, you're not ugly, man. But no, I mean, although I don't know, I guess I just see your photo there. But this is ugly. Yeah, just do it, man. If you want to start a channel, if you want to do Twitch, YouTube, just do it, man. You'll get better at it. It's just everybody's first few videos are not going to be great. So just go and do it. And be consistent. That's the best advice I can give you. So not having an American or Western name is a douche name. Okay, dude. Also, you don't answer the question. Okay, The Witcher. That's also a douchey name. Dude. Okay. What is it? I think on Saturdays, is this where we get these douchebags? I mean, that seems like that. All right, let's go. Keep going. All right, so is anybody else I need to ban? Let's do it. It's kind of fun, actually. Let's see. How many likes do we have? We only have 49 likes. Do me a favor. Hit the like button if you're getting any kind of enjoyment out of this. Good or bad, whatever. Just hit the like button. Helps to get spread out over YouTube. We got 78 of you watching. All right. So the pen sticks magnetically here. It's okay. It's not the best solution. And if you're going to put it in your bag, I recommend putting it into a pocket so you don't lose it. Now, of course, this being a 2-in-1 convertible, as I showed, means you could put it into the different modes here. That's the tent mode. We've seen it a million times. And then, of course, you got your stand or presentation mode. Of course, very glossy. No matter which way we slice it, this is a glossy display. And then, of course, you can use it in tablet mode with the pen. So you can see all my lights. So even without the lights, let me turn off the lights. So look at that. So that one light, and I could turn off more lights, but it still wouldn't make a difference. It's still a glossy display. Not that it's a bad display, it's just something you have to be aware of. All right, so that's how you do that. And then, again, I'll talk more about the pen very soon. So what did we learn so far today? The quick share, which is a nice feature, very similar to AirDrop, works well when it's working, right? So I had a couple of hiccups before the live stream, but during the live stream, it worked fine. So I like that feature, especially when you're doing content creation. You want to get a photo off the phone and onto or tablet or onto your laptop to do some editing, touching it up, to do video editing, get that video off. It was actually pretty quick. I did that 10-second 4K 60 video. It took maybe, 5 seconds, not even. That was pretty good. So there you go. Thank you. I appreciate that, my friend. I appreciate that. Yeah, the advice is free, man. You don't have to pay for it. I'm just telling you from my own experiences. Techno every day. Hey, this looks good. How would you rate it against the Dell 7620 2-in-1? That's maybe a good one to look at. So the 7620 2-in-1, that was the Inspiron, which probably competes against this. I would say this would be interesting head-to-head between the two. Maybe that might be one to look at. They both, I think, have 3K displays, right? Didn't that, I believe, did that 70, somebody remind me, it's been a while. Did that one have a 3K display also? I want to say yes, but I could be wrong. We maybe should check that out. William Cohen, I guess when the PC is off, one can use this as a dark mirror. Yes. Or the Black Mirror. Remember the show on Netflix, right? The display is beautiful. Listen, it is. As much as it's a glossy display, in person, it is absolutely gorgeous. It is a gorgeous display, and I love the fact that they've raised the brightness, raised the resolution, and give you a higher refresh rate. Now, speaking of which, let me connect this back up. I want to show you the different modes regarding the display because it does have a dynamic refresh rate. Let me let that load in. Okay, so we're here in the device, and if I go to the display settings, let me close this. So right now you can see the resolution. Of course, it's the highest resolution on it. It's 2880 by 1800. Now, out of the box, it was at 200%, which is what they recommend. I went down a little bit. It's a little too big, everything. So I lowered the scale down to 175%. Now, the key is here, go to the advanced display settings. And right now I'm on dynamic refresh rate, right? But if I want to go to 120 hertz, and I say keep the change here, this is actually going to be a little bit more smoother, a little bit more fluid, but it will use more battery life. And to show you an example here, I can scroll here. It's very fluid. And in fact, it's so bright. Let me turn it down. Now, you might even see the PWM in effect here, but I don't know if you're going to see it on that camera. But very, very fluid. I mean, I could tell the difference in real world because you really can't tell on the live stream. We're streaming this at 1080p, 60 frames per second, but this is running right now at 120 hertz, which is the highest refresh rate. But of course, I'm going to do my battery test. I'll do it on dynamic mode where it'll switch automatically. I'll do it on 60 hertz where you probably get the most battery life, maybe an hour to 2 hours more, my guess. And then I'll do it on 120 hertz. That will give you the least amount of battery, but the most pleasing to the eye, I guess. All right. So, okay. So Rookie Techie, don't spam the chat. I'm going to have to probably ban you if you keep doing that. So I'm just going to warn you now. I'm not going to answer the question because you just spammed the chat, and that's not fun for anybody. So actually, I'm just going to get rid of you. Okay, you're done. All right, so he's done. Yeah, it's like Saturday. Remember we did this a few times, and all those whatever the unsavory characters came out of their hiding. All right. So I don't think anybody watched. Is anybody watching on Facebook? Let me know. This experiment. I forgot I was doing this on Facebook. How do I know if anybody's watching? And then on Twitter, I don't think anybody's watching. Oh, there are 2 viewers on Twitter. Okay. So for everybody watching on Twitter, good to see you. All right, the 2 people there. All right. So question. See, thank you for putting the Q before your question. Do you think that this is a competitor to the rival, the MacBook? Well, I think Samsung is hoping it is. Okay, so here's my take on it. As far as the M2 MacBook Pros, my answer is probably not because of the graphics. So this has integrated Iris Xe graphics, and as we know, long in the tooth, as I keep saying, so not great. Processing-wise, as far as CPU, yeah, it holds its own. It actually did pretty well. But as far as graphics, I think Mac is ahead of them. Obviously, there's no question about that. All right, so we may have to do head-to-head. But again, I wanted to do the new MacBooks, but I just, first of all, seemed like there was no interest when I asked you guys. So maybe I'll have to revisit that if there is some interest. I don't know. The 2 viewers on Twitter are Elon and Musk. All right, good. All right. So yeah, for those joining us late, I am streaming not only here on YouTube, but also on Facebook, on my Facebook page and on, on Twitter. And I think that's about as much as my bandwidth can handle right now. Thanks for taking the time to make these videos. I appreciate that. So for all the negative stuff, there's always a few good positive stuff to take away from these streams, right? So let me see how the video from this morning is doing that I dropped this morning. The unboxing video is doing very well. So if you haven't checked it out, go over there. I give you some good examples of stuff. Again, initial run, but hopefully we will get even more in-depth and more stuff coming up on this. And then, of course, don't forget, I have the other laptops coming as well. No AAA, watch the video, Mega. No AAA titles on their highest settings. Let's be clear. Integrated Iris Xe graphics are just not going to handle them. It's not in the cards, as I said. I even use those words. If you lower some of the settings, maybe some of the older titles, yes. Or the other route is to get an external GPU. Remember, this does have 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, but keep in mind, when plugged in, you only have 1 Thunderbolt. That is, of course, if you don't use a Thunderbolt dock, which opens up a whole another world of possibilities, but then you're adding to the cost, and it just goes out from there. Good to see Tech Odyssey here. How are you? Good. If you're not watching Tech Odyssey, then I don't know what's wrong with you. As far as the Samsung, he's killing it. OnePlus and all these other phones and so forth. Good to see you. If you're not following Tech Odyssey, you need to have your head examined. And he's such a good guy. Met up in New York, and funny thing, Tech Odyssey. Somebody earlier on the stream said he's thinking I'm getting paid by Samsung, and my response was this. Because not only am I not getting sponsored and paid by Samsung, but I'm out about $7,000. So we'll see. All right. Yeah. Yeah, he's living the dream. Tech Odyssey's living the dream, people. So make sure you go on over there. He's a good guy. You don't want to miss his videos. I don't. Okay. 14 and 16 options for the pros. Now, keep in mind, if you like the 13.3 and the 15.6 inch, then yes, you can get them. The non-pro models still retain that really wonderful dated 16:9 aspect ratio. We're on the pay for our own product review program. Yes, you know how they have pay for play? We have pay for review. So no pay for play for this crowd. But yeah, all joking aside, no review units here, people. Not from Samsung. Now, by the way, when I do get a review unit, I always let you know, right? I tell you when I buy it. I tell you when it's a review unit. And under no circumstances will I give copy approval to any of the brands. So you could rely on me for that. I will never betray you in that way, okay? I don't know about other channels, but that's at least with me. And I know that's the same with Tech Odyssey, of course. And, of course, the Poets. And who else was here earlier? Oh, and Digital Slang. Okay, if I clean the device with a microfiber cloth, the display, is it easily susceptible to scratches? Is it stable or unstable? So I've been using a microfiber cleaning cloth, and so far it seems to be okay. I haven't seen any micro abrasions or any kind of scratches so far, but again, I've had it less than a day, so it's worked out okay. The fan noise, Ahmed, comparatively to the competition, you hear it, and I showed it earlier on the stream, and I did show it an initial example in my unboxing video, which I released today. The bottom line is, it's just depending on what you're doing. There are 3 modes on this, and I can show you right now. Let me plug it back in. There we go. So if you press the function, and I can show you here, the function and the, let's see, F11 switches it, and I can just go show you what I'm doing here. So I'm pressing function F11. This is the quiet mode. Right now, I don't hear anything. Then you can go to optimized. I still don't hear anything. And then you go to high performance. And in a moment, it's probably going to go on. So that's just a balance you can try to find. Again, everybody's use case is a little bit different. And by the way, this has a 76 watt-hour battery, and I will test that out probably over the next day or so. Got a few testing. We're going to do it with the with a few different modes on this. So we'll talk about that. And I've been using the PC Mark 10 battery test. They got a few tests that I'm going to employ here this time around, because we got, first of all, we got the high refresh rate on this. We've got the different modes. I want to play around to see where we can get the maximize the battery. All right. What about the HDR? Confused because the Samsung settings have an HDR setting, but so do the Windows settings. Not sure if they will interfere. You know, I haven't really delved too much into it, but I can tell you right now, if you go to you can see it here. If you go to the display settings, and let's see here, display settings, go to advanced, the HDR, hold on, it's not advanced, hold on. It's right here. So right now I have HDR. So I can't show you. I'll tell you why, and I can show you here. I have to unplug this because of the HDMI cord that's connected. This is actually connected to my dock, the HDMI, and this is the Thunderbolt. All right, so here's what we need to know. So right now, the option for HDR should be here. So there it is, right here. And I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to make it a little bit brighter, but I don't want to blow out the camera. It's a very bright display. I actually probably could keep it up to the brightness. So right now it's on HDR. So if I pick a video that has HDR, I got to be careful, but let's see if we'll try it. So if I go to, let's see if I go to YouTube, hold on, and I go to LG, I'll find one here, LG OLED Black, and we can see here. So I think this one is a HDR. So we'll know right away. Yeah, see, this is on 4K HDR, 4K 60. And I'm going to turn off the music. So, and you can see it here. So this is HDR right here. 4K 60, HDR, 60 frames per second. Is the displays glass or plastic? I don't know on this one. I believe isn't this Gorilla Glass Victus 2 or something to that effect. I'll have to double check. Seems glass to me. It's very premium. Very premium. But again, I don't have the exact in front of me as far as the specs, if it's plastic or glass. But if somebody wants to look it up, go ahead. Do you think this could run Age of Empires? It's all my time favorite. It's not hard to run. Probably you're okay. For that, you're probably okay. Just don't think you're going to play, Cyberpunk 2077 and think you're going to get away with that. I don't think that's going to be the case. Okay? So not going to happen. So the blacks are really deep. It's very vibrant as far as the colors. I mean, this is absolutely gorgeous. And the dynamic range here is really showing it. Yeah, it's glass, Chris. I'm pretty sure it's glass. And even when I use the pen, it feels like glass as well. So yeah, it's a very premium display. There's no doubt about it. Okay, so we're at 1 hour and 5 minutes. And this is really beautiful. I mean, yes, it is glossy, but in person, it's fine. In real life, this is real life, but in person, it's gorgeous. You could see the detail on it. It's really, really good. I've got the brightness turned up, and again, I measured 476 nits, which is very bright. So, especially for an AMOLED display, they did a good job. Even though that's the competition. Let me try this one. This is also another HDR. And you can see here, very good. You might be okay if you lower some of the settings on FIFA. I think you might get some playable frame rates. Just depends which version, which year on that one. So you should be okay. Great video. Excited to see. Good to see you, Alfredo. See the Ultra. So the Ultra's coming next week, as I mentioned. I will talk more about it early next week. And then, of course, as I get the unit. So I do have for those joining us late, I do have the 14-inch coming in. The 360. They don't make a 360 in the Pro. And I also have, that's going to be in the beige color, by the way. I think it has the same processor, the Core i7 1360p. And then I have the Galaxy Book 3 Ultra coming. I didn't get the i9. I didn't want to spend all that money, but I got the i7 and it has a 4050. I'm not expecting a lot of great stuff as far as because it has a discrete GPU. I think it'll be good for certain things like video editing and stuff. I don't know about the gaming. I'm sure it's going to do fine. I just don't know about AAA titles on the full settings. We'll have to see. And it's my first experience that's going to be with the what do you call it? The 40 series RTX graphics from NVIDIA. So we'll see. Good to see Robert. Always a great member and great moderator here on the channel. Always great to see you. Yes, that's what everybody says. It looks like a MacBook. A blatant ripoff, I say. A blatant ripoff. And it's not by accident, people. This is by design. I can tell you that right away. So Daniel Bird, good to see you. Do you remove the Intel stickers on your personal laptops, or do you leave them on? I don't have time to remove them. If I kept to one laptop and it had stickers, maybe I would do it. I just leave it, to be honest. It doesn't bother me that much. Some people, they don't like the aesthetics of it, but I understand that. I'm buying this tomorrow, so looking forward to it. All right, Mega, you're going to probably like it. Again, the caveats I've said a number of times here today. Very glossy display. The only negatives I'm taking so far, very glossy display, big fingerprint magnet if you go with this color, which is the graphite. The beige, from the limited time that I used it 2 weeks ago, not an issue. And there's the crack book. Yes. Crack book. And then the other negative, of course, is there's no discrete GPU and it's a 16-inch laptop, right? So why would they not put a discrete GPU? And again, it's a 360, 2-in-1. That's where the Ultra comes in. That's where I think for those that need that extra horsepower, that need that more processing power, that's where the H series, which of course is 45 watts, and it's going to be more powerful than say the P series. P series is in between the U series and of course the H series. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. I agree, Comp Man. Listen, Apple did a great job, right, on the MacBooks. They brought back all the ports that were missing, and so did Samsung. They borrowed a page. I think last year they didn't have some of these ports on there. They brought back some of the ports here. The second USB-C port this time around is Thunderbolt 4 as well, where I think they only had one Thunderbolt last year, and the other one was USB-C 3.2 Gen 2. So I thought they did a good job on that. Battery seems pretty good so far, but want to watch my review. I haven't done any battery tests. I plan to run a number of battery tests, so that's going to take a little bit of time this weekend. I'm going to run it with the 120 hertz enabled, not the dynamic refresh rate. I'm going to run it with the 60 hertz enabled, and then I'm going to run it on the dynamic refresh rate where it automatically switches between 60 and 120. So we'll see the numbers. My guess is, based on experience, I think you're going to see the best, obviously, with the 60 hertz enabled. The least, of course, is going to be with the 120 hertz. And somewhere in between, I guess, on the dynamic. We'll see. But who knows? So Tech Odyssey wants to buy the Ultra, but I can't bring myself to pay for it. Yeah, don't be stupid like me, Adam. Just don't be stupid like me. But I take one for the team, right? So there you go. Or it should be this, really. Listen, I also bought this. I bought the S23 Ultra, right? So all told, God knows how much I spend. I must have a problem, right? So figured it out. You have to put the Windows HDR on if you want Samsung HDR to work. Both are deactivated by default. Thank you for the example on how to run the tour. So yeah, I did it through the Windows. So thank you, Chris, for adding to that as far as the Samsung. And I hate when the brands and then Microsoft, they do their own thing and sometimes they don't jibe with each other. It's just kind of annoying. So Comman ordered the i7, the i9. I have the i7 coming. I think I ran out of money, to be honest, because now I'm going to be on welfare after spending, again, like I said earlier, despite popular belief, despite the rumors, I am not being paid by Samsung. Although, judging by the stream today, you would think that I'm raking in the dough, right? Tech Odyssey, a really fun problem. And Tech Odyssey has the Aorus 15 XE4. So you have some good power there. No reason to spend the money if you don't have to. I agree. But you could always do a video on it. I'd love to see your take on it. You have more tech than any one man could need. Yes, I agree. But I also do this. This is what I do for a living. So you have to balance it all out. All right. I can share notes. That would be great, Comp Man. I would appreciate that. In fact, maybe we can do something, do the live stream. Maybe I'll have you come on and you could tell us your experiences with the i9 and the 4070, right? Question from Mega. So my current phone is the iPhone 13 Pro Max, but I'm thinking to go over to Samsung. What Samsung phone is best? My friend has the Fold. It's kind of okay. So the Fold, I didn't charge it, but I have the Fold 4. Adam, if you want to jump in, Tech Odyssey would be a better person to ask, but I have the Fold 4 here. What do you think? Listen, it just depends. I love the Fold 4. It's a really versatile device. You could use it as a tablet. You can use it as a phone. It's a little dirty, but if you want a really great all-arounder flagship, this is the S23. Yes, I have as many laptops as you have phones, right? So which Samsung Tech Odyssey, I'm glad you're here, which one would you recommend? Would you recommend the Fold 4? Would you recommend the S23 Ultra or even the S22 Ultra? I don't have it in frame here, but I have it here as well. Which one would you recommend? Let us know. My guess is if you want a more versatile, maybe the Fold 4. But if you want something with better cameras, I think it's the S23 Ultra, right? And I agree. Price is going to be the big consideration. How much do you want to spend? I'm loving it also. And by the way, again, like I said, if you want to see great coverage of the S23 Ultra among other phones as well, check out Tech Odyssey. Yeah, isn't it great to have him here? He's such a great guy. And I see him at all these events and everything, and we hang out here when he comes to Las Vegas. So really cool. I would go Ultra. I agree. And if you don't want to spend on the 23 Ultra, by the way, the S22 Ultra is fantastic, and you could even get it on the Amazon Renewed program. I've seen it like $600-700 even. Just depends. That touchpad is huge. Yeah, it's crazy. This is they decided, well, how can we make the biggest touchpad on Earth? And then they decided to do it. But a refurbished Fold 3 on eBay for $500. That's great. I have the Fold 4 here, and this has been fantastic. Cameras, I think, are better, obviously, on the S23 Ultra. So, but yeah, I mean, check out Tech Odyssey. Check out my mobile channel, which of course nobody watches, but maybe you can get some ideas. I just did an unboxing on this one the other day, so check it out. And he's coming back to Vegas, so maybe we can do something together. Maybe do a collaboration this time. Maybe the audience would like that. Let me know. All right, and then I'm due a phone upgrade next month, so I'm open to ideas. So far, the S23 Ultra is looking good. I like what they did here. Now, if you have the S22 Ultra, I don't know if it's enough of an upgrade to go out and buy it, to spend that extra money. But if you're coming from an older phone or from an iPhone, maybe, I don't know, you're sick of it, you want to go to an Android, I think the S23 Ultra is a great choice. They did a great job. The cameras are fantastic. The build is excellent. And the overall snappiness and processing power have been great so far. So David Todaro still loves the S22 Ultra. Battery's still good after almost a year with the 85% option on. I still rock the S22 Ultra as well. You can see it here. I'm using it in this live stream, but you can see it here. And you can see the cameras in action here. I'm using NDI. Let me show you this close-up here. So you can see it here, and I'm using the cameras here, and you can see the fingerprints, people. Not flattering, right? Not flattering. And I had to lower the resolution only because I'm wirelessly doing this. You can see what I'm doing here. So you can see it here. And there you go. But anyway, I digress. It's still a very good phone, and especially if you can get it at a good discount. Many of the Fold 3 sales on eBay come with extended warranties, as his did. This will alleviate any screen concerns. Now, I had a couple of screen concerns, not on this. This one's actually worked out really well, but on the previous, I think my Fold 2, I needed to replace the screen. Samsung wound up losing it, sending me a refund, and then 3 months later, it showed up in my house from UPS. It's a whole long story. In the end, that's what happened. Anyway, Good point. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, thanks, Bob, and thanks Tech Odyssey for sharing that as well. Eric CS is asking, do you think the Book 3 Ultra battery will suffer a lot from the GPU, even if it is the 3050? It's not going to be the 3050. The one I'm getting is the 4050 and then the 4070 on the i9. So Robert has the Fold 3. It's a great phone. I agree. If you have the Fold 3, I don't think you need to go to the Fold 4. Getting back to that Ultra Book 3 battery life, I will test it, of course. I have no preconceived notions on it. I don't have any information other than when we'll get it in and I'll actually test it. What editing software do you use for YouTube videos? Maybe. Okay, so here's what I'm using. So I used to be exclusive to Final Cut Pro. I still use it most of the time, but I've moved over to DaVinci Resolve to do some color grading. So between DaVinci Resolve Studio 18 and the Final Cut Pro, the latest version, of course, that's what I use. Okay. The DaVinci Resolve I use on Windows, which works out fine. And it also is Mac, obviously. I use it on the Mac. Obviously, Final Cut Pro is a Mac only. So hopefully that helps you. But I find the Final Cut Pro more intuitive than, say, Premiere Pro. I tried to get into Premiere Pro. Number of times, I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. We got 82 of you. We're at an hour and 20 minutes. I don't know how much longer we're going to keep going, but keep asking questions as long as we're here. Might as well. I don't think is anybody watching on Facebook? Let me know. I don't think anybody is. I could be wrong. I can't figure this out. And then on Twitter, I have 0 viewers right now. Okay, so we're rocking the Twitter with 0 viewers. All right. So you know where my bread is buttered. So here we go. All right. What app do you use the phone camera while streaming? So I'm using NDI. It's called NDI. Let me get you the exact name. So it's this. You can see it here. It's this. So this is it's an NDI NX, I believe. Let me go out of this. So I could tell you right now, it's called NDI HX camera. You may have to pay one-time fee or something, and it was actually pretty good. Oh, so it did work. So he was watching on Twitter and he came here. Sorry to hear that. Sorry to waste your hour watching this. Kidding. But so it's called NDI HX. It's available for Android. I also have it for iPhone, for iOS. So the T16, I'm queuing that up. So for those that are wondering, where's my ThinkPad T16 Gen 1 review? I'm almost done with it. I probably have it early next week, so stay tuned, okay? HN, it's on the way. Which, by the way, the keyboard, loving it. 1.5, I think 1.5, 1.6. Yeah, I think it's 1.5 millimeters of key travel. Something that the P16 didn't have. Okay. All right. So what size laptop is the Samsung am I reviewing? So, Robert, this is a 16-inch laptop. So they moved it to a 16-inch, 16:10 aspect ratio. I hit the wrong button there. This one is a 2880 by 1800, a 3K display. Although, shouldn't that really be 2K, 2.8K to be more specific? Notice that it just connected with my S22 Ultra. Very glossy, as you can see. A lot of fingerprints already. It is S Pen compatible, Robert, and this is it's a dynamic refresh rate between 60 and 120 hertz. Right now I have it on 120, but it's very good. It's an HDR display, very bright, 476 nits according to my measurements, and it's looking good. So I'm very, very happy with it so far. Other than the glossiness, that's my biggest gripe. And the fingerprints on this have just been driving me nuts. You probably could see it a little bit. Yeah, see, you can see it here, fingerprints over there. So the 1X, let me get to the next question. Let me get to the 1X here. The 1X bought the Book 3 Pro 360 this morning. Just got here. How are you liking it? Love the videos. Oh, I appreciate that. I like it a lot. So this is a big improvement over last year's Galaxy Book. The Galaxy Book 2 Pro 360 that I reviewed. This is a big improvement. First of all, the build quality is night and day. They went from magnesium to aluminum. There's no flex where you had flex in the magnesium chassis last year. No more flex. no more cheap feeling. And not that it was cheap, it just didn't have that premium feel that this has. This is more MacBook-esque. Say what you want about the MacBooks, they feel very premium. This has that same premium feel. So it's a big difference here. And the fact that they moved to the 16:10 aspect ratio is another big deal. So very happy with it. I'm sure you're going to like it. Not perfect, of course, but we'll get into that in the full review. What about the Book 3 Ultra? Chi, that's coming next week. I talked about it earlier. I have one coming. It's not out yet. Again, Samsung is not sending me the stuff. I had to go out and buy this stuff. So just bear with me as I get this stuff. This cost me a lot of money. I spent, I think, like I said, over $7,000 between the phone and the laptops that have come in. I do it for the love of tech. Obviously not for the money, but that's another story. The beige will definitely show less fingerprints, Chris. In fact, when I got my hands on when I used it 2 weeks ago, Tech Odyssey was there. I was able to see that it was very good as far as the fingerprints, the limited time that I used it. So according to Tech Odyssey, he was not impressed with the Galaxy Book 2s last year. Hardly any improvement at all over the first gen. These are a nice upgrade, worth picking up, I think. Absolutely. And I think one of my biggest gripes, Tech Odyssey, was last year I criticized it for a couple of reasons. One, the 1080p resolution. Yes, I love the AMOLED displays. They're fantastic. Nobody does AMOLED better than Samsung. But the 1080p resolution, but to make it worse, to compound the problem, for a 16:9 aspect ratio in 2022, I was like, what were they thinking? Especially Samsung. Finally, they've alleviated the problem here by moving to a 16:10, by giving us a higher res display, 3K, and just fixing a lot of the overall issues, I thought. And they gave us some ports back even in the process. So I think it's an overall win here, except for the few negatives that I pointed out. The biggest one, I think, is the glossy display, in my opinion. It's a fantastic display, but highly glossy. Okay, and let me put this one over here. Okay, what accessories, according to Mega, what accessories would come from this? And also, what color do you think is best for this laptop? Well, if you don't like fingerprints, I probably would recommend going with the beige. Okay, shows less fingerprints. This does, if you have a problem with fingerprints, when it's clean, this is absolutely gorgeous, this graphite. But if you don't like fingerprints, that might not be the way to go. You might want to do the beige. What accessories come with this? I showed in the video. Check it out. Not much. You get the S Pen. One thing you do get, obviously, is the S Pen at no cost. So that's a win there. Although there's nowhere to keep it other than on the lid right there. You also get your fast charge adapter. It's pretty compact. It's called the super fast charge adapter. And you get a USB-C cord, not the longest, white one as well. The white charger, white cord with this. I'm not sure why they don't just give you a black one and then match it up with the beige with the white. I don't know, but that's just me. Yeah. So I am also happy, Tech Odyssey, that it is also 16:10 at this point as well. How does this feel compared as far as quality to the XPS? Well, Pavel, very favorably. In fact, the XPS, I think, had a really great build quality. Well, some might disagree with me, but the overall premiumness of it is obviously oozes premiumness. This is more up there. Unlike last year, this definitely feels more premium, especially because of this move to aluminum. And by the way, it is heavier with this aluminum, but I think it's the right choice overall. Even with the added weight, I think the fact that there's no flex or give in the chassis makes a big difference as opposed to last year. According to Napoleon, what is the actual size of the Book 14, Galaxy Book 14? You mentioned that you're reviewing that soon. So here's where it gets confusing. So yes, I have the 14 Galaxy Book 3 Pro 14. There's no 360 this year. So there's no, in the Pro line, there's only the 16-inch. So that's the size that is coming in, and it's going to be the beige color. If you want a convertible 13.3-inch, and the non-Pro will be the only one you could do, I guess, this year. And that still retains a 16:10 aspect ratio. Somebody please check to see the resolution. Is it still 1080p or did they move it up? I don't remember. We'd have to check that out. Question from William: does the charger that comes with this laptop work to charge your S23 phone? Yeah, it's a USB-C. So yeah, it will definitely do it. Let me show you the charger. Give me a second. So for those wondering, here is the cord. I didn't take it out of here because I'm using a Thunderbolt dock here, but you get your charging cable there. I don't think it's the longest thing in the world, and then you get your fast charge adapter right here. I don't know if is this 65 watts. Somebody, if they can look it up. I forgot to look at it. It does say super fast charging on it. You can't really see it because of the white on it. It's hard to see in the camera, but does supposedly do fast charging. You can certainly charge your phones with this. Because it's USB Type C. So so far looking good. I don't have any issues. This could be a little bit longer maybe, but again, I didn't take it out of this, so we'll see. But I just found these a little bit short, but you could always change it out for something a little bit better with, like I say, a braided cable. You know, we are spending $1,699 on this. This is $1,700 if you buy it full price. You could think they would include a braided cable. That would have been better. But look, hey, they don't even give you the charging brick for this one. So, you know, take it for what it's worth. They on either one of these. What does the live wallpaper look like? Well, we could take a look at that. I haven't checked it out yet. I guess it's like your phone with the live wallpaper moves. I guess there's a accelerometer in this. We'll see in a moment. So let me switch over to this. Okay, so let's, so what he's talking about, and let me put myself down here. Okay, so on the tray, on the taskbar here, we have, let's see, this is the second screen when you have your tablet, the S8 Ultra, or the S8 Plus, etc. Quick share, we talked about earlier in the stream. Check it out. Then the Galaxy Book Experience. So let's open that up because I think we can get the live wallpaper there. So over here, you can see the live wallpaper. So it says, bring your desktop to life. All right, I haven't checked this out, so let's click open. And let's see what it does. And right now, it's not doing anything. Oh, wait, there it is. Something's coming up. It's the first time I'm booting this particular app up, so it'll give me it's 65 watts. Thank you so much for that. All right. Maybe it's opened already. An update to the new version services required. Please update to the new version now. Okay. So let me update it so we can get a good example of that. And then I think we might just call it a day after that because I'm getting a little bit tired and hungry. So it's been a long day. I did release the video this morning, so hopefully it'll continue to do well. If you didn't see it, my unboxing video, yeah, it's still doing well. It's got about 3,600 views, and this live stream is doing okay. So we'll see. All right. McAfee on board. Yeah, John McAfee came back from hell and is on my laptop. All right, so let me start here. Hopefully, I don't regret this. Okay, so these are the dynamic wallpapers, and I don't really know anything about these. So these are the dynamic. So let me find a good one. I like this moon one. Let me see the dark themes. 0 images. So I guess it's loading in. I guess we got to wait till it loads in. All right. Thanks, Tech Odyssey. Have a great rest of your evening. Thanks for stopping by, and can't wait to see you in Vegas. So let me know, and we'll coordinate. Does it mean any of the Thunderbolt 4 ports can charge? Yes, these can charge either one of these. There's 2 Thunderbolts, and this can do either one. It's full. They're full function. They support data charge and display out. All right. So we got landscapes. We got dogs. Let's go to animals. Let's do this lioness here, it looks like. How do I do this? Oh, apply this category. Okay. Oh, I should probably show you what I'm doing. All right. And I want this image. So, okay, so here it is. So how is this? Is this dynamic? I guess it changes after time. I don't know. Does anybody know how this wallpaper? It does look nice, though. You can see it here. It looks like a lioness with her cub. Battery, I didn't get to the battery yet. I just got it yesterday. I'm still testing battery. Still need to test it. Let me go back to the wallpapers. Let's see something with a little bit more color here. Unapply category. Oh, I guess they change this to the different images That's what I'm thinking. It just continuously changes. So let me go out of that category and let me do dark themes. I like dark themes. So let's apply this category. So apparently it's just going to scroll through the different, eventually it'll keep just going, I guess, to the different images here. So let me, so there it is. Actually looks pretty cool. Get a good look at it here. Although now it's not showing this. Okay, I'm not sure why. Let me unplug it and plug it back in. It could be updating in the background. Let me see if you can see it now. Yeah, I think it's doing something in the background. Let me just show you on here. Happening live, folks. Yeah, so I don't know. That's not working right now. I guess it's doing something in the background. But you can see it here. You can see it here. Let me close this. This is smart. Just helped it with, yeah, this will definitely help with burn-in. Actually, you're right. That's a good point. You can see it here. That's a good point, Duck Vision. Can it flip into an iPad? Yes, it can. You can certainly do that. Do you think it would be a crime to use the mouse with such a big trackpad? I think some people might prefer that because it might just be too big and you might get inadvertent clicks. I know I had a couple earlier when I started using it. So maybe something to consider is, when is too big? When is big too big? You know, when is it just become ridiculous? I mean, you know, we'll have to see. And what he's talking about is the size of this touchpad is just huge. I mean, look at that thing. So, and I have a pretty decent sized hands and it's like almost the size of my hand. Is it good at DaVinci Resolve? Is he good at this? Is me? Are you talking about me? Yeah, I'm okay. I could do color grading on DaVinci Resolve. Is this good for DaVinci Resolve? Yeah, 1080p video editing, you'll be fine. 1080p, you'll be fine. So he still prefers to use his mouse with his XPS 17. Yeah, I remember that. You definitely like to use your mouse. A lot of people feel that way. I use my mouse here, but if it's a good trackpad or a good touchpad, I'll use that. You know, I'm either way, I'm fine. I appreciate that, Pavel. All right, people. It's right now. We're at hour and 34 minutes. I think it's enough. Let's wrap things up here. I think the takeaway is it's overall very good improvement here, year over year, from the Galaxy Book 2 Pro 360 to the Book 3 Pro 360 here for 2023. I think we're seeing a positive movement here. One of the biggest things, of course, is going to be this improved display. Still a very glossy display, but at least it's higher res, it's brighter, it's got better coverage of the color gamut, and it has a dynamic refresh rate. Those things are huge in my opinion. Still a fingerprint magnet, especially on this graphite. I think you'll do better on the beige. That's the takeaway I get. And then, of course, no discrete GPU. If you want a discrete GPU and you want to be in the Samsung ecosystem, check out my video coming next week. So I got our first super chat of the day, believe it or not, from Pavel from Poland, and $10. I don't even know what that's called in Polish, but I thank you so much, my friend. And of course, that is a good way to go out. Thank you, William. It was fun. And I want to thank everybody who stopped by, all the moderators who did a fantastic job, and Pavel for his super chat, and everybody else. I want to thank you. And a lot of work to do here. I'm going to get this all ready for you. So I will see everybody in the next video. And people, stay tuned. A lot more to come. We have the other laptops coming. Got the review on this. Got other reviews. Other things I can't even talk about. So make sure you are subscribed and make sure you hit that notification bell. So until next time, we got before we go, $10 from a super chat from Duck Vision. And I want to thank you, Duck, as always, great supporter, member, moderator of the channel. So until next time, people, I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.